So because I recently drank so much that I got sick and threw up on my best friend's couch, I don't really feel like binge drinking all that much this month. However, I do still want to sit down and talk about One Punch Man Season 2, and in the description, I have written out a recipe for a drink I'm calling the One Punch. It's a spin on a Long Island iced tea. It's just a bunch of alcohol brought together, meant to get you really fucked up really fast, knock you out, and hopefully one punch. Let's roll into it. Hello world of YouTube, and welcome to another installment of Drunk Anime Reviews, where I normally review anime while intoxicated. Like I said in the preamble, this month we're keeping it light, no real alcohol involved, but I do really want to talk about One Punch Man Season 2, because it seems to be very divisive with people. People don't really know how to feel about this season, or a lot of people have been underwhelmed with this season when it dropped earlier this year, and I can see why. I can see why people think that it doesn't work, why people are making videos talking about why it failed, and taking all that into consideration, I really enjoyed it. Do I like it as much as Season 1? No. But I think it's a very interesting place for this show to go, and when thinking about it, it makes more sense for the show to take this type of direction. One of the big critiques I could see this season facing is that Saitama is not a big element of the show. He actually spends a lot of the show away from a lot of the core story development. And personally, I feel like that makes sense for his character, because if you remember from last season, he was pretty oblivious to a lot of things going on. You know, he spent all this time trying to become a hero when he didn't even know there was an association going on. So it only makes sense that in the second season, when more things happen, like a monster association being developed and all that sort of stuff, he would still be pretty oblivious to it all and tries to focus more on his own growth that he can reach. And I personally think that it's effective. You know, I like that this season focuses more on world building. They're trying to establish more in the world outside of Saitama. And I like that a lot. I also like a lot of the new characters that they drew a focus to, like Blizzard's sister and King. I really like King this season. I think that King is a great playoff of Saitama, because King is like this wannabe. You know, he wants to be super strong, but I like the arc that he has before he becomes friends with Saitama and a recurring character to accompany him throughout the season, kind of like Genos was in the first season. I also really like the expansions on some of the other characters that they introduced from Season 1. Like, I like that some of the smaller heroes have more of a showtime in this season, like Metal Bat and all that sort of stuff. Or the main character of the season isn't really Saitama. It's more Gato, the anti-hero, the antagonist to a lot of the heroes in the show. You know, he is what Saitama was in the beginning of the last season. He wants to become a monster for the same reason that Saitama became a hero in the first season, and I like that a lot. I think that it's a nice second version of the story that Saitama was in the first season, and I think it leads to a compelling arc, personally. And I like that he and Saitama don't really get to spend a whole lot of time with each other. I think that was intentional, and I think it was done really well. In fact, the only times that they cross paths are in very brief instances where Saitama just kind of flicks him away like he's nothing. I also like that his arch nemesis, the ninja guy, I like that he has his own growth as well, in the form of trying to tackle Saitama again, failing, and considering becoming a monster, because this whole monster organization comes up and tries to recruit more monsters. I really like that element of it as well. I like that this also focuses more on trying to speak against this kind of hierarchy of heroes, you know, by having all of these A and B class heroes taking on Garu near the end of the show. I liked the Gatling gun hero, I don't remember his name at all, but he was a really, his talk with Gato kind of solidified a lot of the thoughts planted in Season 1 as well, of the Heroes Association kind of being bullshit, because Saitama is this god-tier hero, yet he's still in the C class, and all of these B and A class heroes are also still really, really good, but they are not recognized for their potential because they're not wanting to go through all of these hoops and rings that the Hero Association kind of needs you to do to be an official top tier hero. You know, I liked that element of it. There's a lot of elements in this season that I really enjoyed. I think that the lack of Saitama allows these better set pieces to happen, because one of the things that I liked about season 1 was that it was kind of dismantling a lot of the tropes seen in a lot of shonen anime, and they used Saitama as kind of a punchline to undercut all of these really good action sequences. But I didn't mind that it pulled back on that to kind of hold the joke for more poignant purposes, like the end of the season when he punches the centipede and it just immediately dismantles after 2 S-rank heroes and an S-rank hero's powerful sibling also tried to take it down and just were unsuccessful. Or to show that he doesn't really need to explore martial arts during this martial arts tournament, and I liked what they did with the martial arts tournament. I think it was a nice, hi Mixie, I think it was a nice element of the season, and it brought, I don't know, it put Saitama in a different world. It was like almost like a mini version of the first season where, you know, he realized that his rank isn't really all that important in this first season. His knowledge of martial arts isn't really all that important because he can still just wipe through everybody. And speaking of the martial arts, I liked Suryu's arc as well. You know, I liked that by the end of his little story in this season, he had more of an appreciation for what he thought was a joke beforehand, the heroes, or like heroes in general, or the desire to be a hero, you know? In fact, the part where he is calling out for a hero because he's been beaten and battered so hard is one of my favorite parts of the season. It's one of my favorite moments of the show thus far in general. I think it's powerful, I think it's strong, and I like that, and again, it uses Saitama's strength as an effective punchline. I don't know. I like this season a lot. Again, I don't think it's as great as the first season of the show. I feel like if I were to give like the first season like an 8 or a 9, this would be like a 7, maybe a light 8. This is a really moderate season. And I also feel like it's building to a lot more. This feels more like a middle piece of a puzzle, whereas the first season felt like a standalone story. This actually kind of reminds me of a lot of second seasons of a show that didn't necessarily need to have a second season. I think the first season of this show was a nice story. Obviously, people wanted more because they liked the character of Saitama. They liked the other characters like Genos and some of the other S-class heroes that were introduced near the end of the first season. But this feels like it's trying to be more ambitious. It's building up to more. They introduce this Monsters Association that doesn't really go anywhere by the end of the season. Garo gets taken away by the end of the second season, and he's probably going to be set up to something better in the third season. Saitama isn't necessarily much farther down his own philosophical path than where he was at the end of the first season, but he's taken a couple steps, you know, and I feel like the more that, if this show continues to go on, it'll develop Saitama's character more into this well-rounded mental character, because at the end of the first season, he was kind of bored of being a hero, just being super strong, and this season sees him exploring more avenues to try and get some excitement out of life, and I like that King's speech to him at the end of the season kind of gave him a new lease on life. I really enjoyed that. I don't know. Again, I don't think it's as good as season 1. I think that it could have used a little more Saitama to me personally in the main fray, but I understand why they might have pulled back on him. They didn't want to burn out the joke as intensely as they did in the first season, you know? But I still like this, and I think it's because some of the side characters that they set up in season 1 develop even more in season 2. You know, I like Genos' journey, and I like how it culminates to him still needing to just get stronger by the end of the season. I like King. I like a lot of the other smaller heroes that they introduced. I like the kid that Gato interacts with a lot this season, and I like that even though Gato is trying to be an anti-hero, he still made it a point to protect innocence because, I don't know, compelling villains aren't all pure evil, I guess. But I just like that aspect of it, and I like the dynamic between him and Gato. I liked this season. I thought it was fun. Again, not as fun as the first season, but it's a lot better than I feel like people are giving credit, and I feel like it's just building up to something much more. Yeah, that's my take on One Punch Man Season 2. Obviously, this is a little more of a detailed description of my opinions on the season because I'm not intoxicated, but hopefully you enjoyed it nonetheless. Next month, I'm going to be finishing Full Metal Alchemist, which is kind of a relief, because while I love that show, I hate that I've drawn it out across this whole year. And we'll see how I reformat the show in the future, because I would like to do that. But at any rate, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support on here and on Patreon. If you would like to join the other patrons that I have, feel free to check the link in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you like the other music, gaming, and general nerdery content that I bring, I've been Valor Rack. You guys have good days, lives, and situations, and I'll see you another day.